Hey, Mike with Mike's Bags, and today I am reviewing the Beast by True Cornhole. Let's go ahead and dive in. We'll break this bag down. This Beast is a carpet bag. This is that same carpet you find on the Beijing Viking. It's 4-speed. It's great for playing a dirty style game. You have so much control with material. Throw blockers where you want. You can also cut, roll, flop. You have a ton of control with material. So 4 on the slow side. Fast side. This is that Pro Advantage Viking fast side material, but it's flipped over. They use the back side of it, so it's a touch slower. It plays about a 6-speed. Same material you'd find on the slow side of the Reynolds Fracture, Cornhole Scenario Cat 3, 724 WMD, the Southwest Bougie. I call it more of a mid-speed material. It's controllable, still pretty hole friendly. So if you throw in other bags, you kind of know what this material is. We're looking at about a 4-6-speed bag. So this is definitely a slower bag designed more for a power thrower or playing on faster boards. Template-wise, this is on the smaller side of it. This is really more of a small, full bag. In fact, there's not a lot of floppy. It's got quite a bit of fill here. But I think the smaller template leads to it being fuller. And these bags have been broken. I've thrown them a ton. This is the flop you get. So if you don't like a floppy bag, you don't like a large floppy bag, and I get somebody every now and then ask me, well, hey, what's a fuller feeling bag? What's a bag with a smaller template? And there's not a lot of options out there. So this Beast is definitely one of those. This is one of the fuller bags that I've thrown. And I say that fullness leads to the ability to control this bag and manipulate the bag and do what you want with it. Right? It gives you so much control. When you grab this bag and I grip it with a butterfly grip, but if you use a butterfly grip, you still have complete control of the bag. There's not a lot of bag flopping around out there. You can lock it down and you can really control when it comes out of your hand the orientation of the bag. Get your side tilts, get your front and back load, front load, whatever you need. So if you're wanting to cut or roll or flop, you can definitely do it. In fact, this bag is one of the best, one of the easiest I've thrown as far as doing those cuts, rolls, flops. So if you're trying to learn that, if you're wanting to learn the roll, want to learn throw cuts, this Beast is a great bag for that. But anyway, the fill in here, this is a mixed fill. I think True said it's a 3-part mixed fill. It's got a good variety of mixture. I like the fill in here, and I do like the fact they put a mixed fill because you don't really need an all bead fill. You don't need a super bouncy fill in this bag because of the control you have on both sides. The bag already wants to kind of move and hop, and you'll watch when I'm throwing. A lot of times the bags aren't just sliding. When I throw and they land slow side, they aren't sliding up, they're hitting, they're kind of hopping and walking up the board. This bag has a ton of movement when it hits the board, which again makes it easier to shape those shots for the cuts, rolls, flops. You can really manipulate bags, which makes it great when your opponent throws a blocker. I don't really have to go aggressive with the tilt to cut around. It's just a small angle, just a little bit of an angle to get my bag to cut around or to throw a roll. You don't have to get a ton of backload, just a little bit of backload. The bag will hit. It's going to pop up on its own. Sometimes you just throw a bag, land behind it. It'll just hop over itself and skip over. So it makes it great for getting around blockers, whether it's your opponent throwing a blocker or you throw a blocker first bag, get around, clean up at the end. It just gives you a ton of options on that. So mixed fill here. Also, the mixed fill helps with the hole friendliness of the bag because you get a sticky material like this, it tends to want to hang on the hole. The mixed fill helps with it, as well as True puts a performance liner in all their bags. But in this bag, it has that performance liner. So it's a super slick material on the inside of this carpet. So the fill and the beads aren't hanging up on this slower carpet. They actually have a slicker material, less friction, less resistance. That allows them to drip in the hole a little more. And you'll see here sometimes, you'll see some bags that kind of hang up and then just kind of slowly drip in. You don't typically get that from a 4-speed carpet material. But I think with the mixed fill and the performance liner, you're really getting some of that here. So I love the fact that they added the liner. I love the fact they didn't use all bead fill. They put more of a mixed fill in here. Really helps with the playability of the bag, helps with some of the control of the bag as well. So these bags are also ACO stamped, you see here. So if you played ACO events for this season, you need an ACO stamp bag. You can throw the Beast at ACO events. Leads me into playability on this. And this bag is a pretty straightforward playability. It's designed for that dirty style game. If you're that player that loves to throw blockers up there, 2-3 blockers, cause a lot of chaos, a lot of congestion, and then just clean up at the end or try to outscore. You're not really looking for the PPR. You're not trying to put a 10, 11, 12 PPR on the board. You're more about the DPR. You want to outscore your opponent. You just want to get points every round. And that's kind of the game I like to play a lot of times is I don't care about my PPR. I don't care if I throw a 6 or I throw a 12. As long as I'm getting points, that's all I care about. I'd rather win around 6-4 than wash on 12s. I want points every round, and I don't care what my PPR is, and that's what this bag's designed for. It's really designed to play that dirty style game. It's designed for harder throwers. If you throw harder and you have a hard time keeping bags on the board, this Beast, both sides are very controllable. You can definitely control it and keep bags on the board. I did find sometimes, I will say, this carpet and the fullness of this bag with sticky carpet, the bag can sometimes be a little tough to control. And my biggest weakness when I throw is my consistency, my accuracy, is that sometimes bags are coming out. They're not perfectly flat. They get a tilt one way or the other. And so there's a couple things I could do to correct it. One, sometimes I would just throw slick side down. I did a few rounds, slick side down, and just run bags in the hole. And you can play this bag. You can go slick side down, run bags in the hole, and then flip it over the carpet side when you want to throw a blocker here or there, or just completely run bags on the slick side. You can definitely do that. So if you're looking for a bag that doesn't have a lot of flop, it's on the fuller side, but maybe you don't necessarily want the carpet, you can still buy this beast and throw slick side down and give you that ability. And then whenever you need to throw a blocker or just put a bag on the board, flip it over and go the slow side on that. So I found that was a way to kind of get around it because it's more forgiving on the slick side around the hole. The other thing I found is I can throw the bag deeper on the board, land it closer up to the hole, because this material is going to kick on you. If you don't throw flat, it's going to kick on you. But if you land the bag closer to the hole, there's less distance for that bag to get off course, right? If you land it, you know, 1.5 feet, 2 foot from the hole, when the bag hits and starts to kick, there's more distance for it to get off course. By the time it's the hole, it's going to miss it. But if you land it 6 inches from the hole, when it starts to kick, it's still going to grab the hole and come back in. So I found myself throwing the bags deeper on the board to just put them in. And I wasn't worried about them skipping over the hole that much because they're not that fast. Slower materials, they're just going to slide in. I will say if you go too close to the hole, because the hop and bounce, it will bounce over the hole. So you can't get right at the hole. You got to kind of back it off 6 inches to a foot and put it in there. The other thing I found out with this bag is I could also, if I really wanted to take some of the kick out, I would intentionally throw the bag with the cut tilt to it one way or the other and just adjust my landing and let the bag actually cut, and I could control the cut. Because if I throw flat, sometimes, again, like I said, sometimes I get a little off left or right. Well, if I'm throwing flat and I'm going down the middle and I get a little more tilt and I get that right kick that I wasn't prepared for, or the other way, I get the left kick the next time, it's hard to adjust. But if I intentionally put a left, the right side down to get a left kick to it, I can adjust my end zone and just play that constantly, or I can go the other way and play it the other way. So you can play more of an intentional cut every time, or intentional kick every time, and take away the inconsistencies or the uncontrollability of the bag. So I do think once I figured out, when I first started throwing this bag, I really had a tougher time because it really is, this is a higher skill level bag, right? And I say that, but it's also a great bag for beginners. If you're just starting out and you're having a hard time finding a bag, you can just keep on the board, right? Every bag you get just wants to fly off the back. This is a great bag for beginners to just put bags on the board. It's sticky enough on this side, it's going to grab, it's going to stay on the board. If you're in the middle of the board, it might kick on you, but it's staying on the board. Even the fast side, if you hit the board, it's probably going to stay there. But it's also a bag that when you have the control of the bag, that you can get the tilt that you want. You can make this bag make harsh cuts. You can make it roll. You can make it flop. You can do so much with a bag like this as far as shaping shots. You can get very creative to get in your bag, around your opponent's bag, over your opponent's bag, or whatever you need to do to get your bag in and leave their bag on the board. So it's kind of that beginner and then advanced level player. In the middle, I think a lot of players in the middle are probably going to struggle with the fact this bag is punishing. So if you don't throw a flat bag and you don't have a lot of control on how you put your angle on it, it's going to kick on you, tougher to control. So keep that in mind. But I think in the right person's hands, again, faster boards, harder throwers, or players that love playing dirty style game, this is the bag you're looking for, especially if you don't like flop. If you don't want a floppy bag, and again, a lot of you have messaged me, hey, what's a fuller feeling bag that has control to it? There's not a lot out there, but this one does have it. It reminds me a lot of the older BG Vikings. If you're familiar with those older bags, the newer ones have kind of gone to a little bit bigger, more of a medium template. The older ones had that smaller, puffier feel to it. That's what I feel like with this beast. So if you're familiar with that and you're looking for, if you're trying to find that bag, grab yourself a set of Beast. I think you're going to love them. I think you're going to like the way they play. Leads me to availability. True Cornhole has a website, truecornhole.com. The bags were $65 for a set, $13 shipping. So $78 all in, shipped to you. Great price for an ACO stamp bag. It's on the cheaper side of bags. And again, if this bag fits what you're looking for, there are not a lot of them out there. So, you're going to have a hard time finding a bag at that price that really fits this type of style or this play style that what you're looking for. So if you throw in the Beast, I love your feedback, what you like, what you don't like. Always love hearing your guys' opinions. I thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.